Good morning, you badass motherfuckers. It's the All on Me, the morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg, getting back on this motherfucker once again. Good morning, motherfuckers. Good morning, sunshine. God, so beautiful today. God, if you're in my neck of the woods, right, we got massive amount of snow in this region in the last several days. And it's just something special, right? When you look out on the landscape and you just see it covered with that soft blanket of snow, white, right? It's a beautiful thing. The sun's coming out a little bit right now. The clouds are clearing, and it's peaceful. It's calming, right? And if you're able to even find peace and calm, right, and on any morning, that's a beautiful thing, right? That is an incredibly beautiful thing. If you're able to find peace and calm, right, some real mental rest and relaxation, recharging of yourself. I'm sure a lot of people got worked up, right? We've been worked up about Super Bowls, and then the last few days it's been about love, lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey, long time. And it's an interesting thing, right? We know about the 5 love languages, yes. Do we? Do y'all motherfuckers even know about the 5 love languages? Right? Gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time. What's the other one? What am I missing? Acts of service. Yes, acts of service. We got 5 love languages. So you can see what's interesting is you can see what people post, right? You know what you receive from somebody is usually what they need. Do you guys all realize that? Right? If you're trying to manage a relationship, you're trying to cultivate love and foster a relationship, right? Usually what we do is what we need. Do you understand how this shit works? And a lot of us, we don't even know what we truly need. But we know what we think works for someone else, right? In order to attract love to us, right? So you'll see people, they post in flowers, right? Bouquets of flowers. And usually, right, that's an act, right? That's that's a gift, right? Chocolates, it's a gift. Right. And so a lot of people will post those because they've received those gifts. Right. But do they realize that the person giving, right? And a lot of times this comes from feminine and masculine. Right. And so the feminine, right, receives this stuff in terms of gifts. And the masculine, usually there's not a whole lot of gift giving in return. It's usually a gift of self, right? Sexual. Let's be honest. That's how this shit works. And it's a really interesting thing. A lot of times we don't really think about it, right? We don't really have these conversations. I don't know. I'm experiencing more and more people having more and more conversations about what? Love languages, attachments. That would be a whole nother level, right? Of relationship. What are your attachment styles? Are you an anxious attachment? Are you an avoidant attachment? Are you secure? Right? Are you disorganized? If you ain't never heard any of this shit, chances are maybe you're married. Whether it's a happy marriage or not, that's for you to decide. If you're out there dating, right, and you hadn't heard about this, well, you're in trouble. You need to figure this shit the fuck out. Anxious attachment. But here's the thing. We got to figure out our own attachment styles. We have to figure out our own love languages, right? We have to figure out our own boundaries, our own values, right? And it's the wildest fucking thing. that I know a lot of people, myself included. I had some challenging time yesterday, right? Valentine's fucking day. When you are single, right, you can feel an absolute sense of unworthiness, right? You can feel, right, like something's wrong. Like, man, you get down on yourself. And then guess what? You start thinking about the past. You start thinking about the old shit. You start turning in bad situations and trying to look at the good and longing for something that you knew is no longer with you. And it was not good for you, but we want to rationalize in our mind that maybe that thing now would be better than nothing now. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. Because I'm going against the grain with the whole mindset of loving thyself, truly cultivating a relationship with yourself. And this needs to happen regardless of your relationship status, right? You could be divorced, you could be married, you could be, engaged, you could be LTR, right? It does not matter. Every single human being on this earth could improve the quality of their own life by improving the relationship with their self. And so it makes so many people uncomfortable when we start talking about this shit. Why? Why is it so fucking uncomfortable when we start talking about self-love? Right? It's because right away, there's a few things. This is a fucking deep conversation. We're not programmed for self-love at all, right? Since the earliest fucking memories that you have as a child, right, is codependent, right? You're reliant on what? Your caregivers, right? And then from that point, once you get to like the first 5 and then you start going in the school system, oh shit. Everything is about what? Authority, learning about history, learning about historical figures. Everything is externalized. Think about this shit. Very, very, very few people on this earth have truly, from a child, adolescent place of being, have learned how to cultivate and develop a healthy, secure relationship with themselves, right? How to check the negative self-talk, right? How to validate themselves, right? How to genuinely care for themselves. And when most people hear self-love, they think it's masturbation. Let's be honest. That's what most people think, right? That we're talking about masturbating, right? And it's like, nah, that's not it. That could be a form of it, but that's not the fucking depths of truly loving yourself, right? And it's really unfortunate because there is a tremendous amount of psychological, emotional, and mental suffering happening on this planet right now. Not one person is exempt. I don't care about your job, your title, your status, right? There is psychological, mental, and emotional suffering on this planet. And the way that you can help to alleviate some of your own personal, psychological, mental, and emotional suffering is by doing what? Improving the relationship you got with yourself. Improving the dialogue that you have going on in your head, right? The harshness, the critical fucking voice, always critiquing and comparing yourself to every other motherfucker out there. And this social media shit only makes it that much worse. Of a sense of feeling insignificant, of a sense of feeling not good enough, because it's all about comparison in this world. And sure, a lot of you can say, I don't give a fuck, right? But there's even a healthy version of I don't give a fuck, right? What anybody thinks. And I don't give a fuck, but I'm going to shut down. It's an avoidance style. I'm shutting down, right? I'm closing off, and then I'm going to turn to a bunch of negative vices in order to kind of numb that pain that's going on inside of me of feeling insignificant, unworthy, unvalidated, unloved, right? No one cares about me. I'm all alone, right? They say over 60%, right? 60% of adults feel lonely, right? 1 in 3 couples, right? 30% of people in relationships feel lonely, right? So even if you were single right now, there's a pretty good chance that the person that you get with, right? Yeah, you're gonna fall in love, and then the honeymoon ends, right? But you don't know you, and they don't know them, and eventually, guess what? You start doing life separate but together, because then you create what? More codependency. And a lot of us just want to settle, right? A lot of us will settle. The other problem is, though, is a lot of us have an unrealistic expectation of who the fuck we are, what we really bring to the table, right? There's a lot of people that look at themselves as they're more than they are, right? And they have these fucking astronomical standards, right? And I'm talking to a lot of you ladies out there, right? You have these astronomical standards for who Prince Charming is, who this man is that is worthy of your love, right? And that shit's fucking you, right? Not in a good way. Because if we're really honest with ourselves, we attract the love that we are, right? The love that you have right now. If you have a very anxious love, right? Because you're single and you're like, oh man, I need someone in my life because it completes this picture. Whatever the picture is, because you're seeing, especially Valentine's, right? All the couples posting pictures and the adornment and the love and all the words of affirmation and oh, my forever Valentine and this and that. And it's like, man, everybody that ain't doing that right now, it could be a real challenge, right? For me personally, I went through and I try to like every single one of those, right? Because again, I know most of them are bullshit. 1 in 3, it's bullshit, right? Put it like that. People and couples, I was married for 21 years, right? It wasn't always fucking rainbows, sunshine, and unicorn, man. Flowers, right? Yes, we do these traditional things. Most couples, that's when they actually kind of make up, like coming out of the holidays and all this shit. People are really just stressed the fuck out. And that, if you've ever been in a long-term relationship, that shit wears into the relationship. And then it's usually anniversaries, birthdays, or Valentine's, right? That sort of like rekindle a little spark, right? We got, come on. This is my partner. I got it. Let's fucking, let's dust off the dust. Let's rekindle the spark for a fucking minute, right? But it's all it's not genuine. And why is it not genuine? Because we probably don't love our fucking selves, right? We're probably miserable. We're probably stressed. We're probably overwhelmed. We probably feel alone. We probably feel unseen even in our relationship. I know a lot of men that feel like they're just a fucking paycheck, right? Just that provider, right? That they don't get the gifts, right? Very few men you get the gifts, right? It's the giving of self, the body, right? For sexual pleasure. And for most high value men, the sex, it's got to be beyond that, right? A man like me, it's like sex is very important in the love connection, but it's not everything. Fuck no, ladies. You got to bring a hell of a lot more to the table than just the body, right? Because we know, that body, right? It's tough to maintain, right? And a lot of times we're rolling a fucking boulder up a hill because of just age and a lot of other bullshit, man. That fucking nasty healthy habits, right? No fucking healthy habits, nasty nutrition, all this other bullshit, right? And we blame it on the health. We blame it on this. We blame it on that, right? But it's really important to me right? Not that when I meet you, you're gonna get healthy. No, I'm looking for a partner that matches my energy. And most of y'all won't even be honest with yourself, right? If you are overweight, right? If you are not truly showing up as your best version of yourself for yourself, right? This is the self-love journey. Is it saying, look, people can love you. I saw this I felt this was some bullshit of like the self-love thing is like, no one can love me until I love myself. That's bullshit. People can, genuine people will love you regardless, right? That's like unconditional love. Very few know this, right? But unconditional love is when you truly do love someone and you accept them for who they are. But someone that truly does have a healthy love for themselves, if you showing up as a toxic, negative, energy fucking sucking vampire of a human being, right? The person that loves themselves, they're not going to let you continue being close proximity of their energy, of their space, of their time, of their attention, right? And there's a lot of you. You're negative as a motherfucker. You're not happy. You're genuinely not happy with your life. You're not happy with the results. You're not happy with the package, right? And you're not happy with a whole other fucking list of shit, right? When it comes to your reality, right? So you look for a day like Valentine's, right? To give you that fucking shot, man, right? It's like a hit of fucking some heavy fucking shit, man. Heroin, ecstasy that just puts you back into like, oh, look, life is good, but it's not, right? It's the same thing with the delusion of the sports, right? Great. Your team won, right? Your team won. How did that change your life? Your team won the fucking biggest game of the year in dramatic fashion. And then you wake up the next day and it's like, are you going to throw a parade in your fucking neighborhood? Right? What changed? Did anything fucking change? And y'all know the answer to this. It's no. Nothing fucking changed. What? You get to brag about it? You get to toot your little horn. My team won. I didn't look as dumb as all you because I wore the jersey, I wore the gear, and my team won the championship. But next year may not be the same. We all know this, right? You get to toot your little horn. My team won. I won. I'm the winner. We're the best. But next year is probably not going to be the same, right? So you will look like a fool. But yet you continue to have this pride of loyalty, right? Faithfulness to something you have zero fucking control over. You got zero fucking control over, right? Who gets injured, right? Who gets traded? You got zero fucking control over the operations of these teams, the play callings of these teams, but you sit there like if you and your opinion, your feelings about it matters. And this is psychological fuckery. It really is. There is something so detrimental to our health. It is a very psychological, there's a psychological conditioning. That's not a healthy psychological conditioning. When we get fanatical to the extent that it's my team, everything, it's fucking 24/7, sports, my team, my quarterback, watching this, following that, my team. There is something that is not healthy. That's a red motherfucking flag, right? Of how you are choosing to invest your time, attention, and energy throughout the course of your life. And I'm not just some like party pooper guy that's saying, don't have no fun. Don't fucking do any of this shit. Right? Because that's what most of you want to hear. Right? Most of you that this shit's catching you. Right? Most of y'all want to hear that somehow my version of life, right, ain't as fun as your version of life. And that could be farther from the truth. You get to have your version. I don't know your version. Actually, I do. It was shit, right? It was shitty. It was a shitty existence, right? Overindulging, right? I was carrying around a shit ton of fucking fat, right? I was feeling my worst, right? I know I was over drinking on a regular basis, right? And I didn't have a whole lot of energy other than I would start watching the game sitting on a couch like this. And before you know it, I was like fucking laying horizontal on the couch, just watching the team with zero energy, right? The only time I'd get worked up is when I fucking thought I could do a better job. Or when the person playing, making millions of dollars doing such a fucking activity, right? When they didn't perform to my expectations, because I want it to be flawless. I want them to be perfect, but I'm not perfect, right? You guys want perfection, right? You want these athletes. Well, you're getting paid to do all this shit. You should do what you're fucking paid to do. Well, what the fuck are you getting paid to do? How about we start critiquing your little jobby job, right? What are you getting paid to do, right? Uh-oh, this is how it happened. This is how it happened. Oh, shit. What are you getting paid to do? You like being paid to do what you're doing? Better yet, do you love being paid to do what you're doing? Or are you just collecting a check? And on a day like today, I was wondering how this topic would come up because I don't want to attack people. But there's something that's been, when shit comes up, as I'm just like, when I do take some little bit of time to scroll, when shit comes up, I feel like it's for a reason. And it's for me to speak. So a day like today, it's actually been the last 2 days here in northern New Mexico. They've had snow days, right? Closed school because of weather. Y'all need to remember, I worked in higher education for 6 years and public education for 2, classroom teacher. And for the last 2 days here in northern New Mexico, they had snow days, right? They closed the school because the roads, inclement weather, and such. And I still have some friends. I may not have them here after this. If they even watch this shit, who the fuck knows? But I think there's a deeper story going on here with this shit. So I have several friends, right? Let's just call them colleagues. I don't like to use the word friends. I got several former colleagues that are still teaching. And it's like, I do enjoy following them because it's so telling of education, right? Right. We always look at, the funding being an issue, right? The curriculum being an issue, politicians getting in the fucking way, the testing, all this shit. And, at really the bottom, the low piece of that totem pole is the teacher, is the classroom teachers. And I'm telling you, that was not an easy fucking job to show up to. Being a teacher, managing 20 to 30 little souls, all their energy, all their worry, especially in a school that had a lot of trauma, right? Real-time trauma, children being abused, children being neglected, children probably sexually assaulted, all kinds of crazy, right? All kinds of real crazy shit. Children with parents that killed themselves. There's a lot. There was a lot of dead energy in that environment during the years that I was there. But the thing that throws me off is every time that there's either a delay or a closure, the teachers, right, that I used to work with, these former colleagues, they celebrate like a motherfucker on social media. Yay! It's like the most exciting, man. It's like your team winning the Super Bowl. Yay! Snow day! Yay! I don't have to go to work. Yay! I don't have to teach kids. Yay! I gotta fuck off. And it's like, isn't that kind of telling about the whole system? If the people that are the most impactful, at least with the recipients of education, which are our children, if the actual teachers themselves celebrate not having to go to work as if it's a good thing, right? It's good for them in their personal life, right? But isn't there like a deeper message being conveyed there that we should be asking why? Why do they all, like all of them, they all celebrate? And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I used to do that too. I'll be like, fuck yeah, snow day. I gotta teach today, man. I gotta deal with this shit. And what is the shit that we're talking about dealing with? Right? A bureaucracy. Right? Because it's really not genuine. I mean, every person has to have a different heart and a different why as to why are you teaching? But I can tell you that there's teacher shortages across this country in ways like never before. I talked to some teachers, some fellas that I used to work with. I ran into them at a grocery store recently, and I just give them praise. I just say, man, thank you guys for doing what you're doing. I know it's not easy. It's definitely not the easiest job. I know it's not the hardest job, right? Teachers, they want to make it feel like it's the toughest fucking job in America. It's not the toughest job in America, but it's not the easiest either. But I always mention this, right? Whether it's the tension in a relationship, right? When me and my ex were going and just kind of that storming season of falling out in our relationship, our children, they might have overheard some of that, but they felt it more than anything else. Kids, they feel. Children are more in their feelings because at that age, they are so scared to speak up, which really develops us, right? You as an adult right now develop that skill of a fear to speak up. Unless you were in a healthy, supporting environment where you were provided safe space to be able to express yourself, right? To share your genuine feelings without fear of being shut the fuck down, right? Have your light dimmed or silenced or shamed, right? For you to actually say how you feel and then for someone to validate you and say, you know what, I understand why you feel that way. It's super hard. So most children, they don't get into their words. They feel the world around them. And we wonder why education is so fucking in the dumps right now, right? And I can tell you, even just as a parent, like my son, through COVID, he fell through the cracks because he was like, he could tell his teachers were not excited about it. Lots of his classmates, his friends, his peers were not excited about distance learning and COVID and trying to stay attentive from home with fucking all kinds of puppies and distractions all over the fucking place. Right? It's hard. We put a ton of pressure on these little children, right? But look how the adults are acting. It's a snow day. Everyone's celebrating. Yeah, I don't have to go to fucking work. Well, what is your job? Oh, to teach children, to inspire the lives of our future, the future generation of our country and this world? You're excited that you don't get to do that today? Fuck, man. Ah, fuck. Right? And these kids feel that shit. They feel it. And we can justify. I know that if anybody actually teaching that posted some bullshit about not having to go to work, the celebratory shit. Like, I'm talking fucking next level yoo-hoo, yay, best fucking day ever. The one that I don't have to go to work. That's the best day of my life. I mean, come on now. That tells me that you ain't doing it for the right reason. That's why I couldn't stay doing it, right? I gave it a try. Genuine openness, wanting to make an impact in the lives of the youth. I did. But it was the bureaucracy and all the bullshit around. I was like, no, this ain't for me. I know who I am. And I know that I cannot fit that shape. And then any of these motherfuckers that are saying, I'm going to change it from the inside out. No, you won't. No, you won't. So I'd rather change it from the outside, right? I do have this crazy vision. I'm grateful for it, but I do feel that I want to be known as the revolutionary, right? That didn't overthrow public education, right? That's a waste of energy. I just want to build a system so much greater than what is there now, right? That the consumers of education, right, are who? Parents, right? That when they get to make the purchasing decision, okay, do I want to purchase this public education, this private education that just costs more but is pretty much the same, or this other alternative that is a total renewal of what really matters in this world, which is really learning about yourself. I think the most formidable years of life, 0 to probably 12, right? Really getting them through about 7th, 8th grade should be so focused on spending time journaling, writing, and establishing a fucking bulletproof relationship with yourself, a healthy, self-validating, loving, kind relationship with yourself. Because again, the more you improve your relationship with yourself at any age, right? The more you're going to improve the relationships you have with others. Thus, I believe you will help to drastically eliminate human suffering in this world. Because so much of our human suffering, psychological, mental, and emotional suffering, invisible really, all stems from our inability, right, to self-regulate. This is the shit they were teaching me as a teacher in a trauma-informed school, right, is to be able to facilitate children dealing with real-time trauma through those formidable years, 0 to 10, right, on how to self-regulate, how to calm down, how to process the feelings, right, how to not be overwhelmed, how to feel safe in a space, right? As adults, generations and generations and generations, for as far as you can fucking conceive, right, have not been taught, trained, or supported to self-regulate your emotional state of being, thus improving your relationship with yourself, right? Developing and cultivating a true, unconditional, loving relationship with yourself. So that when someone from the outside comes in and disrupts you, it doesn't change your state of being. You understand that that has to do with that person and it doesn't have something to do with you. That when someone misunderstands you, that has to do with them. It doesn't have to do with you being confused, right? And thus, you don't have to sit there and try and get their validation, try and over-explain yourself to someone that's not trying to understand you, right? And these are all of the things that play out in our interpersonal relationships as adults, right? We don't know how to do this. We have to develop these skills now as adults and rewrite fucking deep fucking programs inside of our fucking subconscious. Shit that runs autopilot based on a smell, based on a flower, based on a day on a fucking calendar. We get triggered in ways that we're not even aware. We're not even conscientious that these triggers even exist until we fully wake up and start to unwind the past and get to know thyself. What do you love? What do you hate? What do you want and why? And anything that's not a part of that story, you have to then question and say, where did this come from? Is this truly my belief, or did someone else project their beliefs on me? And I've been carrying this around for my entire life. And guess what? If I'm honest with myself, I don't believe this shit. Right? One of the most, I think, simple ways that I think people are programmed is politics. If you think back to your earliest memories of, political interest, right? I literally know people that were driven to the polls and said, you're going to vote this way and that way from here to the end of your life, because this is how we vote, period. And they say, okay, right? And they don't know why. They were just told this is how we vote. And then maybe there's some story. Oh, these people are bad. This other team of Americans, right? Let's create division, right? Within our family structure, within our community structure, within the hearts and minds of our children. Let's create division and call it unity. Call it virtuous moral superiority. Wow, it's flowing today, right? So we're going to create division, saying we're not even going to give these people a fucking chance. We're going to shut them down. We're going to oppose them at all levels, on all fronts, any way possible, right? Because our way is more virtuous. We have a moral superiority to anything else. And it's all bullshit. Because in my fucking adult life, 44 years old, right? I've seen the ball go bing, 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 bong, right? It just goes back and forth. And what the fuck's changed? Has your life got better? Whose fault is it? Right? Because your team, look, if you vote blue or you vote red, both of your teams have won the championship over back and forth, usually every 4 to 8 years, right? The other team wins the championship. And if we look back, it's like, what the fuck has changed? It's got worse, hasn't it? Is anybody saying it's getting better? Does anybody vote that because your team won several championships, that your life got better, politically speaking? What about just sports speaking? Your team won the championship this weekend. Did your life get better? Right? Did they say, oh shit, did you walk into work on Monday? Or maybe you were one of the motherfuckers that called in to work on Monday, right? And the boss said, oh shit, your team won. Guess what? I'm giving you a raise. You're a champion. You're a winner. And guess what winners do? Winners get more money here in our business, here in this company, here in this organization, because your fucking team won. We're going to pay you some more money because that's what winners deserve. That's how you got treated. When you showed up to work, they said, man, you picked the right jersey, didn't you? You get a raise right now, effective immediately because your team won. God, the rest of our teams lost, right? We're going to keep our pay the same. But you, Mr. or Miss Champion, fanatic, you get to have a raise today, right? That's the thing. The life don't change, right? You're going to buy a shirt, right? You have to buy a shirt. They don't send you a free shirt because you cheered the team on and never missed one play of the entire fucking season. You watched every single play, right? You didn't miss 1 second of one game, including preseason, that even after all that fucking time, holy shit, they're not even going to send you a free t-shirt, a keychain. Do you get a free keychain? I love talking all this shit. Because this is life. And this is the mind fuckery that's been going on for far too long. Generational. Generations upon generations. Right? We have accepted less. We have accepted a version of reality that tells us, right, to forgo ourselves, to disconnect with ourselves. Do you think these devices we got, this shit I'm using right now, right, helps me to know more about myself? I guess it could. There is some pretty good resources out there that help me to connect with myself on a greater level, right, on a deeper level. But the greatest thing you could do is just disconnect from everyone else, right? And genuinely just try and figure out, what do you love? What do you hate? What do you want out of this life, and why? Do you love your job or do you hate your job? Which is it? There's no in between. Do you love your job, the thing you chose to do, or do you hate it? There's no in between. It's either love or hate. If you're neutral, I'm going to go ahead and say that you hate your job. You dislike it. It's not good enough, right? If you want to play that game, I'm neutral. It's fine. That's bullshit. You should love what the fuck you do and not celebrate. Yay, I don't have to go to work today. Like, that's a good thing. Like, if it's just a harmless little thing, right? Because especially if your life involves, well, anything. If you celebrate having time off and you're in customer service, you ain't got to deal with all them fucking customers. They feel that shit. Because when you are there and deep down inside of you, you're not happy. You're not content. You don't really fucking, it don't make you feel alive. You don't feel good about what you do. You're kind of tired of it. You're over it, but there's a toxic codependency to it, just like in a romantic or old romantic relationship. It used to be romantic, right? But the romance is worn off. We've got complacent, right? We take in shit for granted. I learned this shit after a 21-year marriage expired. I learned how much shit I took for granted. I can say that. Can you? Can you be honest with the shit? If you're in that relationship right now, can you literally be honest and write down what you are taking for granted about your partner and your commitment, your vows, your vows? Right? Can you be honest? And then once you're honest, can you actually make some decisions that's either going to make change to improve the situation, or you're going to be honest and say, I got to switch this whole situation up, right? I need to fucking let the job go. I need to let the partner go. I need to let this thing go, because it's scary to let something go, especially if we're fucking programmed to hold on to it. And we're codependent to where we're like, I've settled for this life. It's good enough, right? Stepping into the great unknown could be detrimental. I don't want to be homeless, right? That's the extremes, right? I'm going to be homeless if I quit my job, right? Well, what would you rather be? Homeless or die from stress related to your job? Does it matter if you're homeless, if you're dead because you're stressed, right? But if it took you changing your life up, maybe you had to downsize your home, downsize your place, right? But you felt a greater sense of freedom, right? Would that be terrible? Right? Would that be worse than dying from fucking stress? Right? Carrying around all those extra pounds, right? Celebrating other people's lives instead of being able to celebrate your own, right? Having fucking envy and resentment towards other people traveling around the world, right? Well, you're sitting there on your ass, wishing, waiting, wanting this shit to happen instead of making the motherfucking shit happen, right? I love the real talk. I can't take it any other way, right? I cannot take it any other way. But it does trip me out But how many people are uncomfortable with this thought of loving thyself? It's not just masturbation, right? How do I love myself? I think first and foremost, one of the ways I love myself is by accepting myself, right? Genuinely accepting myself. And I have fucked up a lot. And that's a really hard fucking thing, to accept this motherfucker, to accept him, the drunk motherfucker, right? All those mistakes, all that guilt, all that shame. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to love that self. But that's one way that I do, right? That's one way that deep down inside of me, I genuinely love myself because I accept my true self. All of it. All of it. Right? All the shit I regret, all the shit I'm embarrassed of, all the shit I wish could be different, right? It's total acceptance. That's one of the greatest ways that I love myself. The second way that I love myself is I then have compassion to forgive myself, right? For all that shit. And to also forgive others that have hurt me. That's another way I love myself. And we always get caught up. Well, forgiving is, how can I forgive someone that's hurt me? Well, again, forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. Because an unforgiving heart is you're drinking poison, wishing that those motherfuckers die. You're carrying around resentment. You're carrying around anger, bitterness, right? Rage, right? So forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. So that's another way that I love myself, right? First is acceptance. Second is forgiveness. And then I get into some deeper shit, right? Other ways I love myself is by getting help when I need it, right? Whether that's medical help, right? Going to a therapist. I got therapy today. Excited about that. That's the way I love myself, right? Taking care of myself, right? We can boil it down to that. Taking care of what? The mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical parts of yourself, right? If spirituality is something that matters to you, that's loving yourself. But if you're all spiritual, right, I think there's issues there, right? Total judgment, right? I seen a church Valentine's dinner the other day. Everybody's really proud that it all came together. But why are people of faith so fucking overweight and unhealthy? What are we gonna blame that on? Right? So again, better nutrition, being accountable, right? If you're overweight, right, is that truly the best you can do? Right? Can you improve that? You don't feel good about it. Your self-confidence isn't what it could be. Because I know when I was fucking hella overweight, man, I overcompensated in a lot of negative ways because of the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment, not feeling good, right? And most of us will try crash diets, will try quick fixes, and it don't work, right? Quick burns, calorie burn, all this bullshit. When it really just takes a hero's mindset, a warrior mindset to say, you know what, little by little, I'm going to develop the discipline. I'm going to change up my mindset. I'm going to change up my habits, and I'm going to change up my nutrition, right? I'm talking to an incredible friend of mine that's beginning his journey of weight loss, of getting back to his best self. And it's going to be an incredible journey. We're going to celebrate him every single day, every single week, every single month. And he's going to fuck up along the way, right? That's a part of life. But there's a difference between fucking up and giving up, right? And fucking up and getting back up. And you know what the difference is between those two, right? It's having accountability. Because a lot of times we fuck up and give up because we're trying to do it on our own. We're trying to do it in secret, right? And we don't want no one to really know. But again, one of the ways I love myself is ask for help when I need help. That's real humility, is when you know you can't do it on your own anymore, right? And I think that's the greatest gift. That's the second greatest gift that God has given us. First greatest gift is life. Second greatest is connection, right? So knowing that when you have run out of your options for what you are capable of doing, right? Asking for fucking help. That's another way I love myself, right? And there's a bunch of other ways down here. Self-care, right? Right, going to the gym, maintaining healthy nutrition, mindfulness, journaling, right? Volunteering, right? Some of those could be perceived as only giving a fuck about myself. But I can tell you this, that the more I give a fuck about myself, literally, like the more that I actually give a fuck about me, right? Because see, a lot of people that are insecure, right? They'll say, oh, that person only cares about themselves. But again, there's a negative and a positive to all reality. So a narcissist will be someone that truly can only think of themselves, right? But a difference maker, right? Someone that genuinely gives of themselves, right? They're going to put themselves first because they know that as my cup gets filled and overfloweth, that all that love and all that abundance that comes to me and through me then goes to where? It goes out here to the universe. It goes out there to you. If this message has touched your life today, right? I am sharing out of the abundance of love for myself. And I am trying, and I'm not even trying. I'm just allowing it to flow through me and to you. And I hope you receive this shit. Because this is a topic we're going to continue to talk about, right? That's that it's all on me, right? It's all about me. But then in some ways it is. This life is all about you, right? It's your story. And hopefully in your story, right, you take time to touch other people's lives in a positive way, to make a difference. That's why that's number 5 on there. Could be the littlest fucking thing, man. The littlest gesture could truly impact someone's life in a profound way, right? But it's really getting to a place where you are so fucking grounded and centered on who you are with such clarity and genuineness that you love yourself so fucking much that you just start attracting other people, right? That are either seeking that so that you can inspire them, right? Or that they're going to match your energy and that you can truly find unconditional love in others. And it doesn't always have to be romantic. Platonic connections are incredible connections to have, right? Where we build each other up, where we cheer each other on, where we pick each other up when we fall the fuck down. Those are incredible relationships and connections to cultivate in this life. This false shit, right? The neediness, the scarcity, right? Those types of relationships, they never last because there's always something very shallow, right? They say that usually in love, there's one of two things, right? There's something that you want from somebody or something you have to give, right? Be a giver. Don't just want shit from people. Be someone that is truly giving. No strings attached. But where are you giving from? Are you giving from the abundance of your heart, your mind, your soul? Or are you giving from a place of scarcity, saying, if I give this last thing, maybe it'll keep them here, right? Like where it's almost deceptive, malicious, not with pure intentions, because it's a neediness, right? That's not healthy. That's not sexy. That's not attractive. And it's definitely not long lasting, because everything, like nothing becomes, there's not one product that becomes more valuable with the more use and time that it exists. The beautiful flowers we all know are going to fade. The chocolates are going to get eaten, right? The cars are going to rust, break down, right? The homes need constant repair, all this shit. But it's what you become each and every day, striving to become a better version of who you were yesterday. Pure intentions, cleaning out your fucking closet, cleaning out your bedroom, cleaning out your mind, cleaning out your heart, cleaning out your soul, right? Doing some purges. That's not an easy fucking task. But this life wasn't meant to be easy. And too many motherfuckers got soft because you want it easy. I don't know what happened. I don't know what swept over this country where we just want shit to fucking just happen with ease. And it is cool that when you actually start doing things, putting your life in motion, right? That things do start to happen, but it takes you and your willpower, right? To move, right? To start making shit happen, to allowing things by stirring up the pot. You're going to allow for things to fucking happen. I wish you the best today, right? If you're celebrating not having to work, right? Question why. And I bet you your fear will try and justify, but there's always a deeper level. They say go down 7 levels, right? If you are celebrating not having to work because of weather, ask yourself, answer that question, why, and answer it 6 more times. That's where you really get to the root of it. And I think where most people land is freedom. We want freedom. And regardless if we like our job, love our job, hate our jobs, right? There are obligations and responsibilities and duties that we have that take away a little bit of our freedom, right? And that's a challenge. That's a challenge for most people on a subconscious level, because most of us want to be as free as that fucking bird just flying in the sky, not a care in the world, right? Coming and going wherever he pleases. But guess what? You're greater than that. You're greater than the bird, the eagle. You're greater, right? The greatest of all creation, regardless of where you're at now. And I believe that the tougher your situation is, right, that means the greater the opportunity for you to become such an incredible fucking story, right, of this version of life. Make it a great day. Quit making the motherfucking excuses, because you know the drill. Results kill excuses. It's all on me.